Good morning, children. Today I am going to teach the poem Two Little Kittens. It is lesson 13, page number 86. All of you please get ready with your book, Engaging English. Lesson 13, page number 86, Two Little Kittens. This is a poem written by actually Jane Taylor. Two little kittens. By the term kittens, what do we mean? Kittens means small baby cats. Two little kittens are small baby cats. On one stormy cold night, the two kittens had an argument or fight with each other. While fighting, they started hitting, hurting each other. And what was the reason of their fighting? The reason was that one was having a mouse and other was having none. The other cat also wanted to have that mouse. The bigger cat said she wanted the mouse, and so the fight began between the two. The other cat who had the mouse did not agree to give the mouse to the another cat, and thus the fight began. They started hitting, scratching, and they hitting each other, and there was a great fight. The poetess has already told us that it was a very stormy, cold night. The old lady took a sweeping broom and swept out the two little kittens out of the house because she was very angry with the two kittens who were continuously fighting with each other with the mouse. For a mouse, they were fighting with each other. So while brooming, she swept both of them out of the house. She chased both of them out of the room. And can you imagine, it was a cold, stormy night. The ground was fully covered with snow everywhere. They had nowhere to go, and these two cats had no place to go. They had no shelter. They were staying outside the house and they were shivering in cold. Then they were staying outside the house. They were sitting quietly outside the house. Then the old woman finished her sweeping the floor. Then she finished her work. When the sweeping was completely over, when the old lady went inside, what has happened? Inside the house, there's two small kittens. They slowly crept inside the house. They entered the house very quietly, as if nothing had happened previously. They don't know anything. Like thieves, they slowly entered the house, shivering in cold. They felt that it was good sitting beside the fire quietly and not fight. Then they realized that it is useless to fight. It is better to sit beside the fire and sit beside the fire and be in the room. So we come to the end of the poem. In this poem, what does the poet teaches us? Poet teaches us not to quarrel or fight over small issues. We generally, for petty things, we fight with each other. Okay, friends are fighting, and then two sisters, two brothers, brother and sister fighting. Small issues, we fight with each other. Poet is asking us in this poem. So the summary of the poem, by telling you the summary of poem, I want to give you a lesson that we children should not fight with each other for small issues. We should be friendly and with each other and remain in peace with our friends or with our sisters, brothers, whoever it is. Now I come to the poem. Please, all of you, follow the book. I am going to read the poem and I am going to explain you according to the paragraphs. I have told you the summary of the poem. Two little kittens, one stormy night, began to quarrel and then to fight. One had a mouse, other had none, and that's the way the quarrel began. Quarrel mane jhagda. We often quarrel, fight with each other, with our friends, isn't it? With one rubber, with one pencil, for one rubber, for one this and that, small things, this and that, we fight with our friends. Like this way only, the poet is telling that there were two little kittens. What happened? How was the weather that time? That time the weather was very stormy, cold night. And the fight began between two cats. One of the cats had a mice in the mouth and the other did not have. So there was a fight that for the mouse, there was a fight between the two cats. I'll have the mouse, said the biggest cat. You will have the mouse. We will see about that. I will have the mouse, said the eldest son. You shan't have the mouse, said the little one. The elder one is telling, I want to have the mouse, and the little one is telling, no, I shall not give you. Why will I give you? This way they are quarreling for the mouse. Then what has happened? I told you before it was a stormy night when these two little kittens began to fight. The old woman seized her sweeping broom and swept the two little kittens outright out of the room. What has happened? The old poet has already told us before that it was a cold stormy night. And what has happened now? The old lady came to sweep the room, and seeing the fight of the two cats with a broom, she swept away the two cats out of the room. She drive them out of the room, kicked them out of the room. And two kittens straight right outside the house. The ground was covered with frost and snow, and the two little kittens had nowhere to go. What has happened? It was a cold, frosty night. Previously I told you. And so the two kittens were chased out of the house, and they had no shelter other than this house and no place to go. So they laid down on the mat at the door. There was a mat outside, and on that mat they laid down quietly while the old woman finished sweeping the floor. And the old woman, as soon she finished sweeping the floor, and she went inside the house, the old woman. Then what has happened? The two littles crept quietly as mice. They entered the house, all wet with the snow and cold as ice. They were cold with ice, and they were wet also. Their body covered was completely wet. For they found it better that stormy night to lie down and sleep than to quarrel and fight. They felt it was better to lie down in the room and sit beside the fire than to fight or quarrel over small issues like a mouse. So here, what we learn, the moral of the poem is that we should never fight or quarrel for small issues. We should always remain in peace and be friendly with everybody. We should not fight or quarrel with one another. Okay, here we end the poem. Please, for your homework, you please write the meanings, Roman number 1 of the poem. Roman number 2, you will write the full poem and learn the poem by heart for your homework. Okay? And antonyms I shall send in WhatsApp. You don't have to worry. Thank you, children. Goodbye.